Whatever.
My fans are waiting, bro.
Listen, remember who started this group, all right? Don't get me started.
Whoever carries it, okay? It's all
Okay.
right.
There we
Bro,
go.
it's like I'm LeBron and you're like, Kevin Love. You're just in the corner. You're taking the threes
No,
from time to time. You know
no,
what I mean?
he's have you seen recently Drake on the sidelines going crazy?
Dude, that's you, bro. That's you. Like, I'm
that.
LeBron.
I'll take that.
I'll take that. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. I know we got technically a little bit of a late start, 5 minutes. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. But we're gonna wait. We're gonna keep you guys waiting just a little bit more so we can get some more people on. I think we have 12 people here on the live right now. Oh, sorry, 15. I think it's jumping up pretty quickly.
Dang.
18. I'm gonna say let's wait till we get 25. See if we can crack that.
Dude, everybody gets impatient and hops off.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue.
What they want, man.
Patience is a virtue, though. So for those of you guys that are on now, what I want you to do, so that way we know you guys aren't just running this in the background and, not even paying attention, give us something in the comment section. Hashtag live.
Hashtag happy birthday, Brian.
That too. Make him feel good because he needs it.
I need it. I need all the affirmation.
Yeah, for real, man. Give us, let us know where you guys are from. I know we have a lot of new people in this group, and you guys are from different spots in the world. So, yeah, just give us something in the chat. Or, sorry, I'm so used to saying chat. In the comment section. That way we know you guys are paying attention.
HBD.
Yes, sir. And we'll get started in just a second. So, guys, welcome to today's Q&A. So this is obviously a live Q&A, but for those of you guys that watch this later on, this is basically just going to be us answering some of the most burning questions that we've gotten from you guys as agency owners. We put a big poll out to our entire sort of audience, and you guys have some really good questions, and we're going to answer those today. So, Aaron, do you want to kind of just intro this whole thing and get us kicked off?
Yeah, man. So you guys have seen a lot of these live streams here in the Facebook group. What we're going to kind of do is just break down. I think we have a good amount of questions, man. Probably like 13, almost 15 questions to go over. And we sent out a message. So we're not sitting here saying like, okay, let's wait for some questions. We have like a ton that we think are going to be a ton of value for you guys here on the group. So I'm just going to kind of go and read them, and Brian and Sebastian are going to go through and give some detail on each of these. So you guys ready?
Let's do it, bro.
Cool. So the first one we have, guys, jumping right into it, Gary Cloud from the Metro Detroit area. This is something that kind of hits home with me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys listening. But he said, I have a question. I see people selling these courses all over the internet. I joined one that was complete garbage. They didn't show you how everything is supposed to be put together the right way. There's no blueprint to follow. So I guess my question is in two parts. Number one, I guess we'll just start here, guys. Do you guys think this business model is getting too saturated?
Dude, I love that question. So I know Brian and I both have our own sets of thoughts on this, and it's probably gonna be pretty similar. But we were actually, Brian, we were having a conversation about this, I think yesterday. Guys, the answer to this question, is starting an agency, is doing this whole digital marketing thing saturated at all? The answer is absolutely not. And the answer is not just no, it's not even remotely close to being saturated. Like Brian and I, we were doing some research and looking at some big statistics the other day. And guys, number one, the amount of small businesses that are just forming and popping up every single year is literally insane. It's nuts. And on top of that, the amount of businesses that statistically have absolutely no clue how to market their business effectively online is just as insane. So guys, the opportunity is there, and the opportunity is just growing consistently. So this business model isn't going anywhere. So anything else to add, my man?
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, the analogy I always give people is, it's not an analogy, I guess it's an example, is to draw a 10-mile radius circle around where you're at right now. Think about all the businesses that come to mind, and then ask if they're doing any type of online advertising. The answer is going to be no with like 90% of them. It's still such an untapped place. I looked at a statistic the other week, and in 2018, there was like 70,000 registered marketing agencies in the United States.
Yep.
Registered meaning they've really been around, I think it's for longer than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you Google how many small businesses there are in the United States, it's something like 3.3 million.
Yep. It's so crazy, man.
The odds are ridiculous.
Yeah. And on top of that, just to add on to what you're saying, man, the amount of agencies that are out there is growing, but so is the amount of agencies that absolutely have no idea how to actually get results for clients.
I think it's just like business in general, dude. There's always going to be weak businesses.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. So there's bottom line is there's an insane amount of opportunity out there right now.
Yep.
I also want to touch on like the beginning of his statement about all the courses and stuff like that. Dude, Sebastian, we and Aaron, all three of us invested a lot into different coaches and mentors and whatever you want to call them over the last year and a half. And I found there's a pretty simple way to determine whether or not somebody's going to help you. And it's so simple, it's going to blow your mind. But it's literally like, have they helped somebody else do what I'm trying to do? And are they able to do it in a consistent manner?
Yeah.
Dude, at the end of the day, anybody can go get 5 to 10 testimonials. It's not a hard thing to do. Whether you like buy them off Fiverr, like help a few people, like it's not hard to get 5 or 10 testimonials. But what's extremely difficult is to produce new testimonials and provide new examples on a consistent basis. So whether that's like us or whatever, whoever it is, you want to make sure that the person that you're following and taking knowledge from is actually helping people over an expanded period of time. And not just off of some one-off course launch. And then also just do your research on the person. If they don't have a history and you can't find out very much about them, there's probably a reason for that.
Mm-hmm. Spot on, man. Look at results, look at what they've done. You know, I always say, go and find somebody who's doing what you want to do and is where you want to be. You know, that's a really easy sort of rubric to follow.
100%. All right, guys, let's jump to the next one. So this one, it comes in a couple different parts. I'm just going to read through it really quickly and we'll break it down. So the first, like overall, just said, okay, how do you start? Do you need to do free trials for businesses before they hire you? The bottom line is these businesses just want results, right? So how do you start to build your agency from nothing? How do you know if the course you've just invested in is going to work for you? Lastly, I'm a beginner and I need to learn this skill set. I'm pushing 50 years old with not a lot to show for it. What would be your best advice for someone like me trying to break into the business? Tell me, do you have an A to Z blueprint, successful blueprint for me to follow and to start get clients? So I guess we'll just go from there. So, you know, do you have like an A to Z blueprint? Like what would you do to first start out?
Cool. Brian, do you want to get started on this or do you want me to crack it out?
Yeah, dude. I think this question has a lot of moving pieces to it. So we really need to look at like the principles behind the question. Mm-hmm. And I would start by asking yourself, like, do I have the prerequisite skills in order to be successful in this space? A lot of people look too quickly for tactics. It's like, oh, I don't have any marketing and sales background, but will somebody teach me how to automate my LinkedIn outreach? And it's just not effective. I can't think of a good analogy to correlate that with. But the people that are the most successful in this space are the ones that focus on their skills before they focus on the tactics. So if you're 50, you obviously have a decent amount of life experience, but I would just do a really hard self-reflection on where you're at with sales and where you're at with marketing, right? Because if you can't talk about marketing and you're not fluent in that language and you don't have extensive sales background or you don't have the right guidance, it's going to be impossibly hard. And then once you have those two things, then there's a lot of things you can stack on top of that about the actual logistics of growing the agency. But honestly, dude, like that's the easy part. Like doing the tactics isn't very hard. Learning sales and marketing, that's the tough part.
Yep, 100%. There's also some other facets to this question. So the whole like, hey, how do you start? Do you need to do free trials for businesses before they hire you? And the answer that you will get from a lot of other people in this space is yes, go and do a free trial, earn your keep, so to speak, right? And then get that case study and go off and get a bunch of other clients. Except the reality is usually almost always never works out that way, right? Doing a free trial is probably the dumbest thing you could ever do. Like legit.
It's such a waste of time.
It's such a waste of time.
For so many reasons.
Yeah. So you do not do a free trial. And for those of you guys that are still in the early stages of your agency, the answer is no, you don't need to do free trials. What you need to do is you need to get better at sales and communication and being able to effectively convey your value to a prospect. And a lot of you guys are like, well, if I don't have that much marketing or blah, 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 like how do I become more valuable? You need to improve yourself as an asset, level up, get in communities and places where, again, other people are doing what you want to do and are in places you want to be in. Expand your knowledge base. Just get better at whatever you're trying to push out into the world.
And we're not saying that you should just go out and start pitching 2K retainers or whatever, right? Because
for sure,
you're probably not there yet. You should definitely like match your price point to a degree with your value that you're able to provide. All right. So if you're brand new and you have no idea what you're doing and like you're figuring it out, $500 to $1,000 a month is pretty fair. And then you can grow your retainer as you grow as a person. But dude, I mean, like if you think about it, Sebastian, like if I took $100 from your bank account, like how much effort would you actually put forward to getting back that $100?
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, it would just be like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
If I took $10,000 from your bank account, how much effort would you put?
I'd probably get on a red-eye flight to Utah and come kill you.
But it's the same with like getting a client for your agency. Like if it's like, oh yeah, I'll run ads for you for $300 a month, dude, nobody's gonna even notice that left their bank account. They're not gonna follow up with leads. They're not gonna be attentive. They're not gonna provide content. They're not gonna work with you. At the end of the day, it's just gonna be an unsuccessful relationship.
Yeah.
So there has to be some type of buy-in on both sides in order for it to work at all.
Yep. One thing I do want to touch on when it comes to like just selling in general, a huge sort of, I guess you can call it a hack, if you guys will, because I get this question a lot as well. I know this isn't exactly on the list of questions, but it's kind of just like a side tangent. Well, hey, I really don't feel comfortable pitching $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month. And I always get these price objections, hey, Sebastian, I just was on a call the other day and I pitched them at $1,000 and they were like, hey, that's too much money. What do I do? So guys, there's a whole, literally, if we want to talk about ways to improve your sales ability so that doesn't happen, we'd probably be on here for like 7 hours. But one hack that you guys can implement like right away is go and do whatever it is you're trying to get other people to do. So if you've never invested in yourself, more than $500 or $1,000, there's no way in hell you're ever going to be able to convince somebody else to do that or more, ever. And Brian and I are like literally living, breathing proof of that. So that's just one thing. That's like one little hack. But let's keep going because we do have a lot of other questions on the list.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this one kind of goes, I guess, hand in hand with what Brian was talking about when it comes to just like understanding the processes before you like try to get, go out and automate processes. But like this says, how do I get more clients using LinkedIn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I do a lot of calls with people, probably done like over 500 in the last 6 months with people that ask me that question. And what people fail to understand, and this is another, I'm not going to tangent about this, but you have to understand that there's principles in the world which dictate why things work, right? If I throw something up in the air, it's going to fall down because of the principle of gravity. If I say something to Aaron, because of the principles and the science of the way his brain works, he'll react, right? It's not anything crazy, but I bring this up because LinkedIn outreach, Facebook outreach, cold email, whatever, only works if you have sound principles, right? So everybody's looking for tools. They're looking for automation, like what's your connection request? But the thing is there's no universal answer there. And no tool is going to fix that, right? And so part of the reason our clients are so successful is because we take a specific industry and we take a specific person and we work on crafting a message that actually makes sense and evokes emotion and evokes thought which then leads to a phone call, right? And so automation 99% of the time isn't your issue. Getting clients, it's going to come down to you better understanding people.
Yep.
This is kind of an answer they probably weren't expecting, but
yeah,
it's the most practical answer.
I mean, it's the truth. And I think the same thing runs with like running ads for your agency, or you just need to understand, like, a lot of times too, like, okay, what happens if you figure out your LinkedIn process? Let's just say you're getting 50 leads through LinkedIn every single day. Like, okay, cool. Like, how are you going to convert them now? Like, what's your sales process? Because at the end of the day, like, those people that come through could easily just be a waste because you don't have those initial processes in place. So
for sure.
Like you said, we won't harp too much on it. So let's just jump to the next one. We got a lot to go through.
Yeah, real quick. I think a good analogy, this might not be my best one, but I think a good one is like somebody that has never gone to medical school, has never studied the human body for a single minute, but is like, hey, I want to perform heart surgery. How do I do it? It's like, I want to learn this specific thing, but I've never learned how the human body works. It's like that.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, not the best, but let's keep going.
Analogy king. No, it works. It works. Okay, cool. So what are the 5 most important moves or actions that someone must take to get their first 1 to 5 clients in a nutshell, from Wade?
Yeah, I like this question a lot. I don't know if we'll be able to give 5, but we'll just give we'll give a few of like just the top ones. You want to go first?
Dude, I got it. Ready? Who asked this question?
Wade.
His name's Wade.
Wade, you better be ready to take some notes. Number 1. Dude, Sebastian, stop me if I'm giving too much away.
Oh, you bet your ass I will.
Number 1, you really need to understand who your ideal client is. Number 2, you need to figure out what unique issues and problems this ideal client faces. If your answer is they don't have enough leads, you're screwed. Number 3, you need to figure out how you can solve those issues through online marketing in a way that's unique and actually helps the business grow. Number 4, you need to figure out how to communicate with this prospect that fits best into their business. And then number 5, you need to learn how to show them value and see their own issues. And then number 6, you need to, honestly, like, if you want to get 5 clients, you should probably hire a coach or a mentor that can show you how to do that really quickly. You can figure out 1 through 5 by yourself, no problem. It's just going to take you a year or 2.
Yeah, spot on.
Dang.
Next question.
Yep. Let's see. No, we're good. So let's see. The next one would be, I've seen Brian talk about personalization rather than just automate messages. Does it mean every single cold message you send is different? From Diego. Honestly,
I would just say that the answer to this question is essentially the same thing as how do I get more clients using LinkedIn?
Yep.
We also did a good training about prospecting.
Yeah. If you guys want to see a training that we did on prospecting in general, it's inside this Facebook group. Go and search. I think it's Art of Powerful Prospecting. You guys will find it there.
Yeah, that covers your question for like an hour. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. During the consultation call, whenever you're simply discovering to qualify or disqualify the prospect and you've asked pain-related questions, you can reference back to towards the end of the call and you have figured out their pain points and shown them how you can help fix it, and they ask you the price. Would it be the best to briefly touch on that and then get on a proposal call, or just save it all for the proposal call? From Joseph.
Dude, can I touch on the first part, Sebastian, then you can touch on the second part?
Yep.
Dude, there's this myth about selling, which is I personally have to discover their pain points, and then all I have to do is bring up those pain points and they'll give me their credit card. And the problem with that is, dude, if I understand what's hurting Sebastian, but he doesn't actually understand it himself, no matter how much I bring it up, it's never going to internalize with him. And so, like, saying I understand a prospect's pain points is very like level 1 selling. It's what most people try and do, right? Like, what are you guys doing for marketing? Oh, you don't have enough leads? Oh, pain point. Like, in order to become elite at closing people, you have to learn the skill of helping your prospect recognize their pain points within themselves and like their real true pain points, not just understanding from yourself, which is probably another reason you're struggling. But mull over that, give it some thought.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, because that's essentially spot on. Not only do they have to understand the pain points themselves, but they have to essentially fully like realize and buy in, if you will, to the fact that these are their pain points, and like it's so urgent that something must get done to relieve them. Otherwise, the pain that they'll have to go through to continue to deal with them is too much. They have to buy into that idea.
Yeah,
like, it's super, super important. It can't just be one-sided, like Brian said. It can't just be you saying, "Oh yeah, like you're all messed up because of this."
Yeah,
and the second part of the question was, would it be best, or sorry, let me see, what was it again? It was like,
so touching on the price, like should you keep it at like the beginning or save it for the next call?
Dude, honestly, like I think the nature of that question is, it's just not like you're trying to like plan out the whole thing, you know what I mean, and like anticipate exactly how everything's going to go, and that's honestly probably what's messing you up a bit. So my biggest suggestion, based off the way the question is framed, is go into your consultation calls, man, with a more open mindset and almost like you have no idea what's going to happen, and you're totally open to whatever the prospect situation is. Because if you go to the call and you're like, okay, you know what? I am going to pitch them on the 17-minute, 34-second mark of the discovery call. It's like, it's just not going to work. You know what I mean? You've got to be a consultant, and you don't know, you have to go again into the mindset, or in with the mindset rather, if I don't know if I can even help this person, I don't know what this person's situation is. I just need to find out all the data points and all the details to see where the best course of action is from there. Because in some situations, and this isn't like a canned line or anything, you might actually come across some prospects that aren't really a fit for maybe what you do. And you do genuinely have to refer them out to somebody else or give them some pieces of advice that they can go and do on their own, something like that, So I would just say go in with a bit of a more open mind.
So
cool.
Let's see, jumping to the next one. Is under promise and over deliver the only way to really keep my customers happy? This is from Daniel.
I like this question a lot. So this is a great question, because not enough people talk about the other side of running an agency, which is actually keeping your clients and getting them good results. And it's awesome to see what's recently going on inside Agency Hypergrowth, because our agency clients that we work with, their clients have been getting insane results. I think one person that we're working with, his name is Richard, got his client, I think like $20,000 worth of contracts in like $150 worth of ad spend. Another person we're working with, his name is Jacob, helped his roofing client get, I think, like $100,000 in installations with like $1,000 in ad spend. So this just goes into understanding that the answer is yes. Yes, under promising and over delivering is a great way to keep your clients happy. You don't have to necessarily do that, right? But you do have to set realistic expectations, and you have to deliver results. Like that's probably what's messing up this industry so much. There's so many people coming in and they're just like, how do I take people's money without caring about actually doing the thing for them and doing it well? You know what I mean?
Dude, I think it's less about under promising and more of just like, in order to have an effective relationship, there has to be 1000% complete transparency.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, dude, if I was bringing on a new client and I was nervous, like if I wasn't confident about my ability to get results in month one, like I would very clearly tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of people get screwed, and I've done this to myself in the past, is it's like you have so much endorphins growing from like wanting to close the deal, and you want to close it so badly, so you start saying ridiculous things, and you're like, yeah, like getting 20 new clients in month one is like it's no big deal, it's no worries, like we can take care of that, and you get overly excited. But dude, any successful relationship is built off of transparency, right? So Sebastian, if you and I were working with somebody and we were paying them and they were like, hey, just so you know, it's going to take like 3 to 4 months before you start seeing a return on investment. You have to have that expectation. It'd be like, okay, cool, got it. And those first 3 to 4 months, it'd be fine. But if they were like, oh yeah, we'll have results by month one, and then they didn't, it would be a terrible, like toxic relationship. And so it's important just to have like a very frank conversation with your clients and lay things out and be like, hey, this is how it works. We're running ads. Typically, like, here's what we predict to see on like lead follow-up, lead quality. Here's what we've seen in the past. Here's what we can expect month one. Here's worst case scenario. Here's best case scenario. Like, are you okay with all this? Are you on board? And make sure that they're equally bought in, because it provides protection for when month one goes bad or when they're struggling to figure out how to follow up with leads. And like clear transparency like that, it doesn't affect your sales at all. When I was a novice in the sales game, I would get nervous that being transparent like that and setting proper expectations would hurt the value proposition. But honestly, when you're dealing with high-level individuals, it actually does the inverse. It makes you more valuable. So I think that kind of sums up the answer.
Yeah, they appreciate your honesty and your transparency. And smart business owners know that, like, there's no such thing as, crazy overnight successes.
Yeah, like magic pills and the silver bullets, I know you like to call it. This next question I think is one of your favorites, Sebastian. So cold calling new clients to get started.
Oh boy.
What are your thoughts from you?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a short answer, and then I'm going to, whoever asks this question, to anybody that's listening that wants to know more about cold calling, I'm going to refer you to something else that's a bit of a longer explanation. So the short answer, guys, is cold calling is dead. Despite what anybody else tells you out there that it's old school and it's been working for 20, 30 years and Wolf of Wall Street and all this other stuff, like, guys, the space that we're in, again, is drastically changing, and it changes really, really fast. And business owners are just done with listening to people call them out of the blue. You have to innovate and you have to just adapt your prospecting strategies, and cold calling is still stuck in like 1981. Right. And it's not only that, it's also not scalable. You can't scale to $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month just cold calling. Like, businesses that grow really big don't do that. So if you guys, that's basically the short answer. If you guys want a more in-depth explanation on why cold calling doesn't work and some things you should do instead, I would refer you or reference rather the YouTube video that is on our channel that we did pretty recently on that.
Got the podcast episode on it too.
Oh, that's right, dude. I'm still getting used to the whole podcast. My bad. But yeah, so
was that it on that one? Brian, did you want to add anything?
No, you got it.
Okay, cool. All right. So this one is coming from Jess. She said, my burning question is, do you always send out a proposal for acquiring clients? I'm kind of I might be a little confused on that one, but
I think I know what she's saying. I have some thoughts, but Brian, do you want to go first?
Logistical answer, there should always be a proposal and a contract signed, no matter what. But I always advocate that any type of like actual transaction happens over the phone. So you'll send out like 1,000 emails, and if you don't get back on the 1,000 proposals, and if you don't get back on the phone with that person, you'll have 0 replies.
Yeah. I kind of want to take it in a slightly different, because this might be what she was asking. Like, maybe what are your thoughts on maybe like pitch decks or like full on things that like explain, here's examples, here's this, here's that, like bring them through the whole process. Cause I know you guys have specific thoughts on that.
I think the question was more along those lines. So what I was thinking was, a lot of people get caught up in, and it's a fair sort of, trap, if you will, to get caught in, because it's what most people teach and is very popular, is like, you have to create this massive, amazing, colorful looking proposal so that when the prospect sees it, they just get compelled to buy, right? And it doesn't work that way. That's like a old way of selling. I mean, it's not even effective in my opinion. As Brian said, the sale gets done over the phone. So the actual commitment from your prospect, the buy-in, the verbal buy-in, like the fact that they want to move forward, is all done in conversation. The proposal is nothing more than just restating what you guys have already agreed on and just putting it like on paper legally. That's all it is. It's just tying everything together. It's not a sales tool in any way, shape, or form. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, spot on. I think that was more or less where she was trying to go with it.
Cool.
My bad.
Cool.
It's all good, bro.
Brian, we love you. It's your birthday. We'll sing later on. So Chandler, he asks, how do you customize your niche services into a suitable outreaching approach, technical wise and the philosophical? I'm guessing it's like psychological side of things.
I like that a lot. I think really what goes into customizing your niche services into suitable outreaching approach, technical, it's a bit of a confusing question, but really when it comes to dialing in on what your niche wants is figuring out, as Brian mentioned before, like what keeps your ideal prospect up at night? What gets them going home after a full day of work and be like, frick, I don't want to wake up in the morning and have to do that again, right? And if you can craft some messaging and then an offer around that messaging, then you're good to go. So that's where I would probably start.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think I'll just touch on that really quickly. Just because I think what a lot of people learn from, whether it's like free content from YouTube or Facebook groups or other courses and things like that, it's like there's such a big like focus on the marketing side. So talking about Facebook ads, talking about retargeting, talking about all these different things that, you know, pixels, and like we can install this pixel on your site. And it's like this big flashy thing when businesses don't care, right? Like when I'm on a call with a potential prospect, 99% of that conversation is about solar, the intricacies of their business, like solar, like just they're talking their language, and the other 1% is maybe, you know, talking a little bit about some strategy. But I just think people focus way too much on that technical side. So let's see. Next one. This is from Christina. I like this question. Should I outsource from the very beginning?
Oh, that's such a good question. I know Brian has thoughts on this for sure, but I'll just touch on it really quickly. I think it really depends. So when you say from the very beginning, I'm guessing you mean like no clients, pretty much starting with a fresh blank slate. And honestly, my suggestion would be yes, but outsourced with a purpose. And this is where a lot of people mess up. And I think it has to do with, as with most things, the conditioning and stuff that's being put out there by other, you know, sort of gurus, if you will, in the space is like, just get clients, outsource, get contractors, and then you don't have to work and you have a business that runs on its own and boom, go and sit on a beach and freaking wherever. Doesn't work that way. Okay. If you want to build a real business, it doesn't work that way. So when I say outsource with a purpose, what you want to do is outsource your first, you know, say 2 or 3 clients, specifically with the goal of understanding exactly how the process is done from A to Z and working really closely with whoever it is you're outsourcing to. That way, in the future, you can bring on new clients and bring your fulfillment in-house and hire a team, hire an intern potentially to start running the ads for your clients. Because if you do want to scale up, outsourcing is only going to eat too much into your profit margins. So, yep.
Brian, anything on that?
Yeah, I think similar to what Sebastian said, you have to be really careful not to use outsourcing as an excuse not to learn how to do the thing that you're outsourcing.
Yeah.
So I'll put some context on that. Like, I don't understand how to rank a website to the first page on Google logistically. Like, if you gave me the login to your website, I probably couldn't do it off my current knowledge. But I understand how it works, right?
Yeah.
And so, especially with something like running Facebook ads, you'll never be able to sell something that you don't fully understand inside and out, right? We recently brought some enrollment specialists onto the team with Agency Hypergrowth, and all of them struggled the most when they were like had a little bit of unclarity on the exact offer and all the things that we can do and offer like from a program standpoint. And so if you're selling Facebook ads and you don't understand intricately how they work, you're always going to be behind me. Like, I'll always beat you, right? It's like if you were to go out onto a field and let's say you're playing football and you don't fully understand the play, you don't fully understand your route, like the play is going to break. Same thing with your selling process. Like, if you don't fully understand what you're offering, it's going to break. So do what Sebastian said. Like, if you're not confident in your ability to provide results, then you can outsource and learn. If it's just like you're nervous, but you know how to do it, you should probably just do it and you'll learn. So that's my opinion. I just worry when people use it as an excuse.
Yep, for sure.
Yep. All right. Thank you for doing this for the SMMA community. My main question would be, how many meetings did you have before you close your first client, and within how many days from starting your agency? Can you guys remember that?
Dude, I remember.
Really?
Do you remember, Sebastian? For me?
Of course, bro. I can't. There's no way I can forget it.
Quick story time.
Oh boy.
Back in like June of 2018, I asked Sebastian for help with my agency, and he knew a little bit about what he was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. In retrospect, we both were so silly and dumb.
Oh, gee, thanks.
But dude, we were like little children.
Nah, for sure.
And I remember getting on a call with Sebastian. He was like, yeah, dude, do some cold calling, land a meeting, and then let me know if you need some help. So I did just that. I cold called the gym. Literally, it was like my third cold call. And she was like, I don't remember the exact call. And somehow I like got a meeting. And I go there, and I seriously, I don't remember the meeting very well. I wish I could have recorded it. It was in person. And it was the manager of the gym and the guy who owned it. And I just started like, luckily I have pretty instinctual skills when it comes to communication. And I just started rambling for like 30 minutes. And I ended up leaving that place with a $1,000 setup fee check to get started with the campaign. Yep. So it took me about 3 cold calls and 1 meeting to get my first client.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't doing that. Kidding.
Well, I mean, what you did too is you reached out to somebody that you knew that had at least some knowledge in the space and invested something into them, and there you were able to kind of beat the line a little bit. And
yeah, it was just on a smaller scale, which is interesting to look at.
Yeah, I just hijacked, like, in all reality though, I hijacked like the previous 8 months that Sebastian had spent trying to figure stuff out. Like I just did that. So
exactly. Okay, cool guys. It looks like we have this last one, which I think, so it's about mindset, which a lot of people I think overlook. But so I need help with my mindset. I grew to 10K a month, then lost almost all of my clients since they weren't happy with the results. We got them leads, but most didn't convert. Since then, I have put some solutions in place so that doesn't happen again, but I'm struggling to prospect and sell for fear of disappointing my clients again. I think I remember you saying that was part of your agency's journey. How did you get over that mental block?
That is honestly such a good question.
That's a good one.
It's not even funny how good that is. Okay. Let me just read it through myself. So you've put some solutions in place so that doesn't happen again. My question would be honestly, like, what do those solutions look like now? And have the changes that you've made, have they gotten the results that you were hoping for initially? That's like, there's like some data there that I would hope to have. But I struggle to prospect and sell for fear of disappointing my clients again. It's a very valid fear, and it's a super common thing. I definitely had that at certain points in my journey with my agency. What you have to understand, though, is number one, it's a learning process, right? The same way, like put yourself in the shoes of a business, you know, let's say a landscaper. When they got started, they weren't really the best at landscaping, and they probably had a few jobs where they freaking dropped the ball and their workers didn't show up on time, or they tried to build something or install something and it broke like 2 weeks later and they had refunds and all crazy stuff. It's part of business, you know? And pretty much our main mentor, one of his best sort of analogies is you're paying your tuition. You know, it's like there's one client in our mastermind that we're in right now, and I think he invested, like $50,000 into coaches before he came into the mastermind that he's in now with us, and he saw almost no results. But our mentor, Taylor Welch, was like, dude, you just paid your tuition, man. Like, you didn't really lose anything. You maybe lost some money, but you gained a wealth of knowledge you wouldn't have had you not gone through that experience. So I think this is just a step, or stage rather, in your process. And you just need to learn from it and adapt and improve from here. I wouldn't stress it too much, because you do obviously have something to offer, because you got clients and you did get them results. So you just need to understand you have a lot to bring to the table for whoever you're going after. And, you know, it'd be actually selfish of you to not offer it to the world. So that's what I got.
That was good.
I know, dude. I'm on fire today, bro.
Imagine if Michael Jordan Sebastian would have went to his coach and was like, damn, coach, we lost 4 games in a row.
Yep.
I missed the last shot all 4 games. I'm just not sure if I'm going to step back out on the court again.
Yep.
I don't think I ever want to shoot the ball because 4 times in a row we lost.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was talking to when I was in the Dominican Republic 2 months ago, I was talking to somebody and they told me they took 40 sales calls in a row with no close.
Yep.
And now they're still doing extremely well. And I think it's who asked this question. What's their name?
I think it's
Logan.
Kelsey.
Oh, sorry.
Really?
Kelsey and Logan, whoever you are. It's important that you remember, like Sebastian said, that learning is part of the process, right? And if you allow like one setback to keep you out of the game, then just like get out of the game now.
Yep.
Like honestly, if you want to be an entrepreneur and actually grow a business, you have to get a little bit thicker skin and recognize that failure is part of the process. Like Sebastian and I probably don't talk about it enough, but we've messed up and done a lot of stupid things. Like we don't talk about it publicly, but there's been so many times, where we look back on our business ventures and we're like, why did we do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We lost so much money. We could have gained countless times, right? And frankly, like if you're going to let that setback stop you from moving towards your goals, you should just stop now because it's going to get a lot harder the deeper you go. So what you really need to ask yourself is like, 1, what do I really want? What do I really want? 2, why do I really want it?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, there's no right answer. What do I really want? 2, why do I really want it? And then 3, like, what am I willing to do to get what I want? And like, if that doesn't get you like to where you want to go, then you're in trouble. But that's an important exercise because you might find out that like what you really want isn't what you think.
Yep. So, spot on.
That's my advice to you. And
love it, man.
Stop whining.
Yep, it's true.
Don't take this the wrong way, but don't be a little bee.
For real, man, it's true.
Famous words from the birthday boy. I think that's all the questions we had on here. I don't know if you guys wanted to open it up for a couple more.
Let's see.
I think we got a pretty good scope, man.
Yeah, we had a lot of questions with different angles about the whole agency space. I'm just trying to look at the comment section and see if we have anything decent.
Dude, that's nice. Mason said, so much knowledge from you guys' experience, and there's less than 40 people in here. We should all feel lucky AF. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. We got to get this out to more people. I don't know. I mean, we'll figure out how to do it. Maybe run an ad. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
for the guys, of you on here, 42 of you, good news. Probably in 2 weeks, about 2 weeks, Sebastian and I are going to be doing another live training. Not sure what we're going to be doing it on. Probably something that has to do with sales. But it's going to be a good training. So for the 42 of you on here, be on the lookout for that. It's going to be really unique from all the other ones that we've done. You're going to have to pay some amount to get into it, and the replay is only going to be available for those that get on the original webinar. But we're doing it paid because 1, nobody shows up unless they commit, and then 2, the content's going to be extremely insane.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for a post about that.
Cool.
For sure.
Let's just do one more that we had come in. So this is just like an overall, I think, a good way to end it. So from Bob, like, what is the number one, like if you had to pick number one thing to focus on within your agency to see success, like what would that be?
Oof, dude, that's heavy, bro. That's a good question, man, because like, I wish I could say it's one thing, honestly.
If I had to say one, I'd say self-development.
Yeah, because that'll spur off into every aspect. Because if you develop yourself in your sales abilities and your communication skills, if you increase your knowledge on marketing and how to get results, and that's going to
self-development / like self-awareness.
Yeah, for sure. I think self-development starts with self-awareness because you've got to be aware of where you need improvement and then being able to go and make those improvements from there, for sure. But yeah, I mean, for anybody, honestly, that has this question, like, hey, what should I be focusing on? It's 100% self-awareness plus self-development. Yeah. It's probably not the answer you guys are looking for. You're probably hoping for a sales script, but yeah, we're not really the normal people in a good way.
In a good way.
Cool. Yeah, I think that was it. So are we doing a giveaway on this one or what?
Yeah.
I think we should. All right, guys,
I made a comment in the post about doing a giveaway earlier.
Okay, so guys, we have 38 of you on here right now. I want every single person right now to put your biggest takeaway from today's Q&A in the comment section. And one of you guys will get, should we tell them what the gift is? Or did you already tell them?
I told him I'd give him a book, dude. Because it's my birthday, I'll give him 15 minutes of my time, dude.
Woo! That's fire. Plus the book.
Yeah, you get both.
You get both. All right, so guys, biggest takeaway right now. We got 40 of you on here. Let's go.
It's hard to see comments, dude. Facebook filters them and
yeah, I know. It's super weird.
Gotta love their algorithms, man.
All right, what takeaways you guys have? What's your biggest takeaway from today's live Q&A? Best takeaway wins a book of our choosing and 15 minutes of Brian's time for free.
Unless somebody has takeaways, dude, then we can chop off.
I guess nobody wants a book and free time with Mr. B.
Goodness, dude.
Sheesh, man.
What?
That's proud today, man.
Do they not hear us? What's going on?
Are you still live?
Trisha said, suck it up, don't be a little B. I like that.
Wins.
That's the best one, to be honest, even though we only had two.
I have you as a friend right now. We're going to set up time to talk.
The biggest takeaway is to work on your communication skills with your potential clients. Correct. Work on your communication skills in general and then carry them over to your potential clients.
Trisha, I appreciate you. I sent you a friend request. Accept that, and then we'll set up a time to talk soon, probably tomorrow.
Kayla said, focusing on personal growth since you are the foundation of your agency.
That's good.
Gunner's trying to jump in on the live.
Dude, I know, man. Knowing how to sell the service because you understand how it works and how to outsource it before you sell is a game changer. Yep.
Good. Man.
Takeaway is to work on personal development. Yep, I like that a lot. It's super important. If you're bad at sales, get the F out of the game. I wouldn't say get out of the game. I would just say step up your game.
Dude, that's like saying if you can't shoot a basketball, stop playing basketball.
Yeah, you just got to work on it.
Sebastian will relate to that one a lot.
Hey, what are you trying to say, dude? Just wait, bro. Just wait on it, man. Next time we meet up, it's over.
Uh-huh.
My biggest takeaway today was realizing that focusing so much on the technicalities and the tactics are not as important as human connection and understanding true pain and how you can bring value. I like that a lot. That might be a secondary winner. That was really good. Biggest one was you need to do the work yourself to understand the fundamentals before outsourcing. Yep. Ethan says how to position yourself as an asset to the business and not focus on going in with the mindset of selling. Go in with more of an open mindset, being willing to walk away. Yep, I like that.
Yep.
If you failed in some way or didn't get a return on your investment, it's okay. You just paid for your education. There we go. You paid your tuition. Spot on.
Shout out Taylor Welch.
For real. I think that was only 10 takeaways. So you guys have any more, let's go. But I do think Trisha is the winner.
I took her friend request.
Don't be a little B. All right. I think that's it. So I think we're going to wrap up. You guys have anything else to add?
No, man. I think it was solid. It was a lot of some of the burning questions and hopefully that it helped out.
For sure. So Brian, I think you touched on this somewhat. What should everybody else be on the lookout for? What's coming in the future?
2 things. Everybody write this down. Number 1, we're doing a webinar in 2 weeks. It's going to be really, really, really good. Second thing, I'm really close to hitting some goals, and I'm going to open up some time on my calendar next week. If any of you are interested in agency hypergrowth, I want to hook a few of you up. I'm not going to give it to you for free. That's ridiculous. But I'm going to hook a few of you up with a pretty sick deal. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a message right now, and we can set up a time to talk about it next week. Unless you are happy with where you're at, then don't send me a message. But that's it.
Cool. All right, y'all. This was a good one. Watch it back. This is super value packed, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.